Europeans came to the New World seeking wealth and opportunity. Spaniards arrived first, followed by the English, French, and Dutch. English settlements took root along the Atlantic coast. Jamestown, Virginia, became the first permanent English settlement in 1607. Plymouth, Massachusetts, followed in 1620, settled by pilgrims seeking religious freedom. Life in the colonies was harsh, but people persevered. They farmed the land, built towns, and established their own governments. The colonists believed in self-rule and representative government. However, tensions grew between the colonists and Great Britain over taxes and control.
By the mid-1700s, 13 colonies had emerged along the eastern seaboard. Each colony had its own unique identity, but they shared a common language, culture, and growing sense of independence. The stage was set for a revolution that would change the course of history.
In the 1760s, British policies angered the American colonists. The Stamp Act, Tea Act, and other taxes were seen as unfair. Colonists protested, boycotted British goods, and formed groups like the Sons of Liberty. Tensions escalated with the Boston Massacre in 1770, where British soldiers fired on unarmed colonists. The revolution began in 1775 with battles at Lexington and Concord. The colonists, led by George Washington, fought for independence. The Declaration of Independence, signed on July 4, 1776, declared the colonies free from British rule.
The Revolutionary War was long and difficult. The colonists faced a powerful British army. However, with determination and the help of allies like France, they won key battles at Saratoga and Yorktown. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris officially ended the war and recognized American independence.
After the war, the newly independent states created the Articles of Confederation. This first government proved weak and ineffective. It lacked the power to tax, regulate trade, or enforce laws. Recognizing the need for a stronger national government, leaders met at the Constitutional Convention of 1787. The Constitution, drafted in Philadelphia, created a new framework for government. It established a federal system, dividing power between a national government and state governments. It also established 3 branches of government: legislative, executive, and judicial, with a system of checks and balances to prevent any one branch from becoming too powerful.
The Constitution, with its Bill of Rights guaranteeing individual freedoms, became the foundation of the United States. George Washington, a hero of the Revolution, was elected the first president in 1789. The young nation faced many challenges, but it was guided by the principles of democracy, liberty, and self-government. Section 4, A Nation Divided, the Civil War and its Aftermath. Slavery, a deeply divisive issue, plagued the nation from its founding. By the mid-19th century, the North and South were on a collision course. The North, with its industrial economy, opposed slavery. The South, reliant on slave labor for its agricultural system, defended it fiercely.
The election of Abraham Lincoln, who opposed slavery's expansion in 1860, proved to be the breaking point. 11 Southern states seceded from the Union, forming the Confederate States of America. The Civil War began in April 1861 with the Confederate attack on Fort Sumter in South Carolina.
The Civil War was a brutal conflict, costing over 600,000 lives. Union forces, after early setbacks, gained the upper hand. Key victories at Gettysburg and Vicksburg turned the tide. In 1863, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring slaves in Confederate territories to be free. The war finally ended in April 1865 with the surrender of Confederate General Robert E. Lee. Section 5. A global power emerges. World wars and American might. Following the Civil War, the United States rapidly industrialized and expanded westward. It became a major economic power, facing social and political challenges.
The late 19th and early 20th centuries saw labor unions, progressive reforms, and growing American influence. World War I saw the United States initially remain neutral. German submarine attacks drew the nation into the conflict in 1917. American forces under General Pershing helped turn the tide for the Allies.
After the war, the United States emerged as a global power. The United States joined World War II after the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. Section 6. The fight for equality, the civil rights movement and beyond. Despite the victory over fascism in World War II, the United States still grappled with racial injustice at home. African Americans faced segregation, discrimination, and violence, particularly in the South.
The civil rights movement emerged in the 1950s to challenge these inequities. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. advocated for nonviolent resistance, inspired by Mahatma Gandhi. The Montgomery bus boycott, led by Rosa Parks, and the March on Washington, where King delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech, galvanized the nation.
The Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 were landmark achievements outlawing discrimination and protecting voting rights. The civil rights movement was a turning point in American history. It led to progress in civil rights for African Americans and other minority groups. However, the struggle for equality and justice continues to this day. Section 7. Modern America. Challenges and triumphs in a new millennium. The late 20th and early 21st centuries have been a time of rapid change and significant challenges for the United States. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 marked the end of an era.
The September 11, 2001 attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon were a defining moment.
The 21st century has also seen technological advancements, globalization, and a growing awareness of climate change. The nation remains a beacon of hope and opportunity, striving for liberty, equality, and justice for all.